kicking off in style once again. 35 minutes, there it is. Kaniela Stewart in the purple, Stephen Sawyer in the white, Chase Leader in the black. Back that up with a fifth in Huntington, losing to Chase Leader. And then in Abu Dhabi, he got a third. Up and riding right now from Montauk, New York, on the tip. Michael Takayama rider, Chase Leader. Nice drop knee turn. Sets himself up again for a high line. Kicks off with a nose ride, gets a second nose ride. Good turn between the two nose rides. Holds that 5 and uses that drop knee powerfully, charging up to the top section. Risk, degree of difficulty high. Switches stance, faces the wave, gets a bounce, comes unstuck.
Yeah, you know, it's great to see some variety there, but obviously you have to make sure that you're going to add that variety. We have to see that completion.
Brilliant. Game of chess there, but it's Kaniela Stewart who comes out on top, straight to the 10. Hood ornament, back off onto the tail, carving, sweeping down turn, back up to the tip. Walks out of a second nose ride, just rebounds off the foam, high line, staying high in the wave using the drop knee turn, so demonstrating variety on the rail work. Widening that stance into another cutback, eyeing up the steeper wall, just using that rail to just stay loose and lively, cutting back, looking to see the opportunity to use the cross steps, get back in the pocket. There it is, into the 5, holds the 5, holds the 10, stays on the 5, gets back on the 10, gets some lift, gets some length of time on that nose ride. But Carla, great technical foot adjustment through that nose ride, continually just snaking back and forth with that back foot to go in and out of the 10, back to the 5, into the 10. Sometimes goes into the 10 and he puts his hands to his ear as if he's on the telephone.
Which we were laughing about because of a kid in his generation has probably never used a phone like that.
It really is a nice touch. We might get to see it here. We just saw Stephen Sawyer. He takes off. He kicks out. He comes off the back of that incredible Cinderella story, taking the win in Abu Dhabi. He kicks off for the 3.83. Stephen Sawyer drops a low score. Kaniela Stewart has a 6.67. It's the highest score of this match number 1. And Chase Leader up and riding, straight to the tip, locks the 5, holds the 5, goes into the 10, soul arch, arms down, walks back off her opening nose ride, and then widens into a down carve turn, and then off the middle of the wave, gets a high line, looks to perhaps mix things up with some cross-stepping, some switch stancing, some walking back up to the tip, holds a 5, gets a 10, walks out of the 10, sweeps a cut back. Unable to ride out of that cutback as Stephen Sawyer commits to a very, very steep section there. He takes a fall and hopefully he's hung onto his board, Carla. Local support from El Salvadorian longboard community as we see Kaniela Stewart straight to the tip. Lively start on his Tsunami model, Kai Salas Longboard Company. Back up to the tip, gets a 10, holds that 10, toes right over the tip, and then unleashes, accelerating, roundhouse cutback, rebound off the foam. Things getting super fruity for the Hawaiian here, Carla.
Yeah, I love the variety that he's giving us, the drop knee turns, and just really constantly staying busy. You know, in Abu Dhabi, there was that moment where there was almost like a lay moment, and here, this wave just really offers this constant moving, constant bringing it back in the curl, using different varieties of turns, not just drop knee, but power carves. And he's really showing an exemplary display of that.
This wave has got me super excited. From the get-go, you sensed an element of liveliness. He wanted to be busy, but also not overcooking it. Yes, he's doing a lot, but he's doing what appears to be the right thing at the right time, and he's working right through to the inside. One last hold of the 5, walks out of the 5, onto the sand, to drop Carla, and just from the get-go, this was exciting.
Yeah, super great. He's opened up with that 6.67, but he gets that opening nose ride and then that nice turn to rebound into that whitewater to set up for the nose ride again. Gets the 5 and the 10. And, you know, use that power carve here. We're going to see him then change it up with some variety and throw the drop knee in. And that's really what the judges and the spectators are looking for. We want to see variety. We don't want to see the same thing over and over again.
And we have to reference that he went into Malibu last year for the title match as the yellow jersey wearing top seed. He lost to Kai Salas. Do you think that would have hurt?
I mean, definitely. That's a bit of a bruise to the pride. I mean, a little bit of a fall from grace, if you will. But in a lot of ways, that can ignite the fire even more. And perhaps when it's too easy and when it's too close to home, you don't have that same drive. And the fact that he has to fight for it.
A lot of the surfers are staying locally, like Ola, Casa de Mar, Caillou, some of the resorts right here overlooking El Sunzal, and straight to the tip as Chase Leader locks in a tight 5. 2 steps straight up there into a down carve. This wave getting overhead. Comes off the bottom, switches stance, keeps it cool. Widens his stance, rebounds off the foam, but having to break that ride up with a lie down, goes prone, pops back up. So the judges, of course, will recognize that that ride was broken up by the fact he went prone.
Right, and in a scoring situation, right, that's definitely going to affect it. In a witness spectator moment, you're stoked, you're excited that he actually still managed to maintain riding and staying on the board. So great surfing, great, trying to hold on to control there for Chase, build that fire inside of him.
And what about this from Chase? This is the last wave. He rode on the replay straight in there with a critical nose ride. Yeah,
really nice critical nose ride off the bat. He does this kind of switch stance, but that's not really a functional or scoring maneuver. It just kind of looks good. When he hits the foam there, he kind of comes unglued, but in any normal stance you'd be hooting and hollering for him because he managed to stay with the wave, gets that 5 to a quick 10 there on the inside. But just trying to make the most out of that wave. As you said, it did get broken up, so it's not going to be as high as he would have hoped.
And of course, a great all-rounder, Chase. He won the Unsound Pro at Long Beach.
Not that any of the others to put anything down with the other surfers, but he really stood out with that barrel riding. You could really tell that Jeffreys Bay, his home break, had a big play in it.
And here he is, up and riding on his self-shaped board. It's Stephen Sawyer. Carves deep into that wave. Sets himself up again with some footwork to the tip. Holds a 5, pulls that foot closer in the 5, and then widens that stance into a big sweeping roundhouse cutback, and then uses that drop knee, sets up, stalls it high in the wave. Eyes up an opportunity for another cutback, lively and loose. And finally, Carla, we're seeing the Stephen Sawyer we know and love.
Yeah, and for a backside surfer, surfing on the right here, it can make for ugly style sometimes. We consider goofy. It was called goofy kind of for a reason, right? But Stephen embodies really a beautiful backside style. I love the way he uses his arms and they flow with his maneuvers, finishing it off there. Really solid ride. He's going to feel much better throwing away those basically not scores. Solid ride. Definitely something that Chase leads, but he's Connie here backing it up with 5 to the 10.
Oh, nice opening nose ride from Kaniela Stewart on rail, sweeping away from the foam there, keeping it in the pocket, going into the drop knee carve turn, touching the foam, recognizing now that he needs to keep that board lively on rail, using a bit of cross-stepping just to keep that board trimming. Of course, these slower sections at El Sunzal is where variety comes in, the need for the cross-step. Opting, though, for an unusual strategy with the bounce there, Carla.
Yeah, with the bounce, trying to get into that next part of the section, not able to. So that's definitely going to be a knock. It's not... I can't see those 6s that he's already got down there. Now, Stevie Sawyer here, he is waiting, trying to get that 717, gets that nice, tight 5 there.
Wow, Carla, this is a big opportunity, and look at the spray thrown from that carve there, kicking off, as you said, with a very critical nose ride. What do you think he needs to do to really control this inside section?
Well, he's going to need to, he's got to be patient here. This is a bit of that soft, fatter section, but as it comes into shore, it's going to stand up again. So he's just playing it cool right now. He's going to throw in some variety, a little bit of turns, but he's going to set it up soon for that next nose ride. And this is a very important wave for Stephen Sawyer.
And a great start. We talk about the halo maneuver, those steep sections, high degree of difficulty, and he kicked off with a very critical nose ride. And I love the way he's finishing things. And my memory really... what stands out is that turn he did after that opening nose ride, the spray thrown, the radicalness. You've got chicken skin. You love that, Carla.
I really love that wave. I think that critical nose ride right off the top. I was thinking as we were watching that, because Connie hasn't hit that 7 mark, right? And those are really excellent waves. But then this wave here, and you see how he just kind of plays with that little fade to set up for the nose ride, and just such a tight nose ride. Bringing it then with a nice power carve back into the whitewater. I feel like this is going to be a strong wave for CV. Very well could get that 717 to put him into first place. I'm not the judge. That's why they're hired to do it. But, God, I can't wait for that score to come in.
Yeah, and what was exciting was how in the pocket he was. He was really behind the 8 ball, put it all on the line, and he needed to use the criticalness of that nose ride to make that section a great exemplar of using the nose ride functionally and high degree of difficulty with the nose ride and ending cleanly.
It's kind of, I have no idea. With Chase now up and riding, looking for a fairly excellent score.
Whoa.
Great tip time. He holds it a bit too high. Tail's not able to stay engaged in the wave, and he slides down.
Just out of time, so wasn't able to replace that 5.50, but did get the highest score of that match one, that 7.5.